You know, every time I get some clarity about something in life, I learn a new secret about life or success, I love sharing it with others. Let me start with this story. I can remember some time ago, my husband and I were going through something. I can't remember what it was, but he got a phone call and I'm upstairs and he's downstairs and I'm hearing him on the phone and he's loud and he has this outburst of anger and he is verbalizing how he feels and he's going on and on and on. And I'm upstairs listening and my stomach is turning and I'm feeling the stress in my stomach. I get diarrhea. I go to sleep. I shut down. Later on, I come downstairs. He is fine. He is watching TV. He is cool. He is over it. He is done. And I'm still feeling upset in my stomach. What's the point I'm trying to make? It's that we tend to attract opposites in our lives. Yeah. We tend to attract people who are opposite in the way they navigate their way through life. At first, it's attractive when we see someone that has a personality or a lifestyle that's opposite of ours because we feel like, wow, that's going to compliment me. That is going to add to my life. Until after a while, you realize that can become an area of conflict and contempt and criticism and misunderstanding. So what I have come to understand is that even though 30 plus years ago, I decided that I was going to be a motivational speaker, teaching about goal setting and making it happen and achieving your dreams and creating your goals and your treasure maps and, you know, just making things happen, I began to slowly realize that a lot of people were not sustaining their goals, their business, their dreams, their marriage, their relationships, their sobriety, their faith. They were not able to sustain it because they were not emotionally healthy. And so over the years, I developed another branch to my public speaking, and that is teaching emotional wellness and resiliency. Because as I began to feel and deal with what I'm feeling and heal what I'm feeling, I began to recognize that we all have emotional triggers, that when something happens, we either respond in a healthy way or react. We can have an outburst like my husband did, or we can have an inburst like I tend to do. But thank God we're getting better. Thank God that I began to understand that when a trigger, when somebody pushes my button, I'm beginning to recognize and I'm beginning to say, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to get depressed. I don't have to get angry. I don't have to shut down. I don't have to stonewall. I don't have to do the silent treatment. I don't have to have diarrhea. I don't have to cry. I don't have to fix it. I don't have to feel like a little girl again. What I can do is say, oh, wait a minute, Jewel, begin to recognize, feel it. Don't deny what you're feeling, but learn how to deal with the feeling and heal the feeling, so that it doesn't spill over and contaminate your relationships, your faith, your courage, your self-worth. I hope I'm making sense right now. So in my classes, and I'm going to be doing a webinar very soon about emotional wellness and people who walk on eggshells, because I grew up in a house where we walked on eggshells. I grew up in a house where there was a lot of control, a lot of silence. I didn't see my mother verbalizing how she felt. So I learned how to hold things in. And I know that it was the exact opposite in my husband's family. They expressed, you know, you could hear it, you could feel it. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was like a culture shock for me. I wasn't judging them, but I was surprised to see a family that was so expressive and then just moved on. And so, you know, I've forgiven my parents. They did the best that they could. And all of us have to do that at some point. Recognize that as parents, I know I've dropped the ball and I know I wasn't perfect, but I continue to learn and I continue to grow. So let me get back to this thing about triggers. When somebody pushes your button, what do you do? How do you respond? In my books, I talk about triggers and I give examples so that you can begin to recognize that, oh, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. So here are some examples of triggers that you may experience that make you feel like a little child again, or you feel like you're being beat up on, or you feel like Well, let's see. I feel forgotten. I feel unloved. I feel frustrated. I feel trapped. I feel ignored. I feel disrespected. I feel controlled. See, when I feel like somebody's trying to control me, that's a button. And, you know, I snap back. I react because I didn't like that feeling as a young child, how there was so much control. I feel invisible. I feel unheard. I feel unsafe. So for those of you that have experienced sexual violence, for those of you that saw violence in your home, for those of you that were exposed to people that made you feel unsafe, anytime that happens in your adult life, that's a trigger. I feel left out and excluded. I feel judged. I feel powerless. I feel like I can't speak up. That was one of the triggers for me too. And maybe that's why, I just had an aha moment. That's why I love speaking. Because, you know, in my childhood, that wasn't something that we got to do, was to express and to speak up. It was like, no. I mean, wow, I just had an aha moment. I love speaking. I love sharing. I love verbalizing, because that's something that I didn't have the liberty to do as a child. And again, I'm not trying to create my parents as monsters. They did what they knew how to do at the time. And all of us have experienced something where it has spilled over into our adult life when we begin to realize, oh, that's why I act the way I act. Oh, that's why I can't keep a relationship. Oh, that's why I blow up at my job. Oh, that's why I cuss people out. Oh, that's why I shut down. It's because somebody pushed your button. It was a trigger that goes all the way back to something that traumatized you or shaped you as a child. I hope I'm making sense here. See, one of the things I learned about emotional wellness is that when you suppress your needs, your hurt, your anger, your rage, your sense of being neglected, it really doesn't help you, and it doesn't help anybody else. And what happens is we find other ways to deal with it rather than heal it. And what I find that a lot of people that don't know how to express their anger or their rage or their feelings in a healthy way, some people will ignore their needs, ignore their pain, and then just help everybody else. They minimize their worth. They minimize their pain. They never express it, but they turn all of that energy into helping other people and doing it so well that they have taken all of their attention off of their pain, off of their rage, off of their anger, because they never learned how to deal with it. And so I know for me to have never seen someone deal with their anger or their rage or their pain, I never learned how to deal with it. And if I did see somebody dealing with it, I thought, oh my God, that's terrible, or that's scary, or that's uncontrollable, or it's pointed at me. So I didn't understand the importance of acknowledging my own pain, my own hurt, my own anger, my own rage, my own sense of feeling powerless or feeling invisible or feeling unsafe. And so many of you that are watching this, maybe you grew up in a home where you didn't feel safe. Maybe you were bullied at school. Maybe you experienced sexual violence. Maybe there was mental illness or addiction in your home. Maybe there was drama all the time. Maybe there was total silence and secrets and nobody talked about anything. It was never addressed. And so you don't know how to deal with your own feelings, your own hurt, your own needs. This is why teaching emotional wellness is so critical to me. Because what is the point of me teaching others how to be successful if when they run into a wall, they don't know how to deal with it? When they have to deal with disappointment or setback or death or divorce, a disappointment, a discouragement, and they don't know how to deal with it. And somebody pushes their button and all of a sudden they feel powerless. They feel like a little child again, or they just shut down and stonewall, or they express contempt or criticism to other people because they're not addressing their own emotional wellness. This is so important. And I pray that someone that is watching this is connecting to what I'm saying, and something is triggering in you to say, oh my gosh, I need to learn more about this. I need to be more aware of my triggers. I need to be more aware of how to respond and not react when somebody pushes my button. Oh my God, I need to figure out what happened to me when I was a child that causes me to have these serial relationships, to constantly quit a job or to constantly shut down and withdraw and stonewall other people. I need to figure that out. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I was born to do. And through my own healing, through my own vulnerability, through my own transparency, through my own truth telling, I began to unravel and untangle this thing that had me tied up for so many years, feeling like if you said a certain thing to me, or you treated me a certain way, or you did something, it pushed a button and caused me to go all the way back to my childhood when I felt controlled, when I felt invisible, when I felt like I didn't have a voice, when I felt like I didn't belong. And again, this is not to point fingers at parents. Parents, I know, we do the best that we can. And many of us have not been equipped. I know my parents weren't equipped, but each generation we're to get better. Each generation, each cycle, we should break those negative cycles of abuse and dysfunction and those things that keep us chained and bound and having a low sense of self-worth. We have to know how to deal with our emotions in a healthy way. And you can do it. And you can do it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this video message with your circle of influence. Be sure to visit my website, JewelDiamondTaylor.com. Call my Thought for the Day line. Connect with me. Come to my events. I would love to be a part of your path of healing and success and faith and courage and self-worth. God bless you, and stay in the light.